The following Dysfunctional Gaming podcast was filmed in front of a live Twitch audience. Hello and welcome back. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Dysfunctional Gaming's Talking D&D. I am Thundercat0420. Over there to the left is GM Patch Nasty. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I hesitated while I asked that question.
Yeah. So welcome back again. This week we have a very cool subject that we're going to have fun talking about. But before we get into that, we want to talk about our show Zombo Force on YouTube. Dysfunctional Gaming YouTube. If you see the squid, you found the right place. And if you don't find the squid, you can always just go directly to google.com and search Zombo Force, and we're the first thing that pops up. So that's pretty cool. We are releasing our episode 204, episode 4 of season 2, Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern. Will be on YouTube premiering. I don't know what our plan is for that, if we're playing D&D or not. There's going to be a lot of questions we're going to figure out tonight in our meeting, and we'll post all of that information in our Discord and our Twitter. And once again, if you see the Dysfunctional Gaming's purple squid, you've found the right place. Then we're going to take a break until January 8th.
Hooray, the holidays! Yay!
But Talking D&D is not taking a break. We will be back next week as well. What did we talk about last week?
We talked about words and things and stuff. Oh, you want? Okay, I can elaborate while you chew on your bacon for you audio listeners who don't see him nibbling. Go ahead, nibble some more. Num 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 num. We talked about player tips and tricks. Certain little things that you can do to help speed up combat, role play to get into it. Remembering the basic formula to roll attacks and damage will help in the long run. And then we talked about that.
Where can you find that?
Hi, Fuzz.
Hi, Fuzz
you can find that for all the lovely ear potato listeners out there. You can find that on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Anchor FM. If you can listen to it in an audio form, you can probably find us there. If you see the squid, you're in the right place.
You can also find the recapped videos, cut out the starting soon screen, any breaks and any jibber jabber that doesn't need to be in there is cut out. So it's a little bit shorter form.
Cut out the jibber jabber
video on YouTube.
I demand jibber jabber cuts.
I haven't really cut too much lately. Lately, I haven't cut much out. So it's basically start to finish, other than the starting.
Well, we've almost done 50 episodes. You'd think we could have this down at some point, but we still talk over each other. That's the fun of it.
We're gonna get there. I mean, 50 episodes is coming up in a couple weeks, so
be there before the new year.
Right before, literally, like right before it.
Mm-hmm. Segue.
What are we talking about this week?
We are talking about time travel. We are going to get timey-wimey. We're going to talk about, pacing, essentially, for, short time, long time.
Best time.
You give best time, you give people downtime. That's another way to time travel, too. And then you can talk about actually time traveling. Like Dunamancy, I believe, is what Matt Mercer called it. Yep. I call it timey-wimey magic. But that's just me, because I'm a Whovian. Do we want to start on the short end aspect of like describing travel to make things a little bit easier, or are we just going to dive right into? I think we
do the fun time travel stuff after the boring stuff, because I think leading up to the fun stuff is a little bit better.
Travel is always fun. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's not.
It depends on where you're traveling, honestly. I mean, setting a precedent for your environment is a good thing for travel based. Like, let's say you're traveling in the Underdark. It's an alien environment where light is not a common thing, and things will eat you because you can't see them because it's the dark. And then you can describe that. You can put the barely lighting. That's a good way, like, to set the pace of their travel, because there's like either traveling at a fast pace because they're running from something, and then figuring out what different mushrooms do, and then that's I think the hardest way to like describe travel is backtracking through a dungeon. It's probably one of the hardest. Like, I'm just like, ugh, yeah. So you guys make it out of the dungeon. Don't even narrate that. You're just out. You slogged through the whole dungeon, and now you're back.
Unless you want to add more stuff in.
Yeah, I mean, typically, if they made it through the whole dungeon and got through the end, I don't want to add more stuff in because I threw the deck at them. But you know, like traveling through mountains, you can describe certain nights are colder, have them make Constitution saving throws, certain like that. Boat travel, seasickness, card games.
All right, so let's tell me about how you do your travel then. How you DM your travel, because I know I DM my travel completely different than you.
Oh yeah, it depends on if there are encounters. If I roll on random encounter tables, I typically will throw them in there sparsed unless I have set encounters. So what I'm doing for my Sunday campaign is I'm running out of the Abyss, which is in the Underdark. So there are 3 types of encounters. You got terrain encounters, you got creature encounters, and then you have set encounters. Terrain is purely based off of what they see and what the landscape is. Creature encounters are things that they would happen in the Underdark, and then set encounters are pieces like the Oozing Temple. They just went through the Lost Tomb of Fahem, which has the Dawnbringer magical item in it. So they got that and a necklace of fireballs. So GG's for them. But it depends. Like, if I get no encounters for like 3 or 4 days, like, I'll ask them what they're talking about as they're traveling, and then sparse that in through there. Throw like, it's been hard finding food as you guys have been traveling for X amount of days. Because I'm getting right into it, and I want to get like into the role play aspects of it, unless they want to role play with the NPCs in the party. And then you were in Tomb of Annihilation. That was a completely different experience for me because the traveling was the big aspect of the campaign. Like making navigation or survival checks to navigate and then not getting lost in the jungle. Having a druid that always knew what the weather was like the following day was super handy, because then I could just roll so many times and be like, yep, you don't have a storm. Oh, you notice this, like, tomorrow is going to be stormy. You can hunker down and not have to deal with traveling in the jungle, which completely, changes a whole aspect of that campaign.
But how does that entail to your time is what I'm like.
Oh, time? I kind of just fast forward through it. Like, if you guys aren't going to role play a little bit, like, I fast forward to what you got. Like, I'll give you a couple little pieces like they're talking about. If you want to talk about it some more, cool. But I'll zip right over you guys traveling through the jungle or traveling through the Underdark if nothing's happening.
Right. And how do you do that? Like, how do you zip over it?
Literally, I fast forward. I don't even mention it. So you guys have been traveling about 4 days in the Underdark. You haven't seemed like you've gotten lost, but this is like, I will subvert the length of time between encounters. Like, so let's say they just went through that temple.
So you're like, you would say something like days pass as you guys continue walking through.
Yeah. It depends on, depends on the environment, because the Underdark, I can get away with that because it's fucking dark all the time. You don't know how long you've been down there. You just count by how many sleeps you've had.
Okay, now how about this situation? Now you have a homebrew. Or no, it doesn't necessarily have to be a homebrew, but say say it's a more open world, sandboxy type game you're playing, and they want to travel from one of the southernmost parts to the northernmost part with a couple of stops along the way, but it's going to take weeks or months to get from one point A to point B. What's your plan at that point? Because now we're talking long travel. Slash with how is the time going to work for you?
Like a caravan type of deal?
Sure. Yeah.
It depends on what I've got in my pocket. Like if I have anything interesting that I could throw into a caravan, I'll throw it in there. Also depends on the level. If they're low level, I want them to get in fights. So I want them to interact with people so they can get experience, and I can be like, "Oh, you've leveled up," and I don't have to feel. They don't have to feel cheated just because they traveled for 8 weeks with no encounters. But you literally every session has been on that. I have rolled no random encounters, but you guys have just talked about things, about plans and such. It also, I mean, it really depends on how I'm feeling at that moment. Like if I don't have anything that could be useful to the story that I want to do, or that if they don't, it's kind of a half and half thing. Like if the players interact with people on the caravan, I'm gonna want to throw like certain things at it. If they don't, then I probably won't. And then I'll just narrate the traveling. You made a stop here. What are you guys doing in this city?
Okay. Now, would you have like built those cities that they're going to stop in if
absolutely,
absolutely? Okay.
It's
and how and so if they would you have them stay there a couple days like and lose time on their travel? Like, do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of how other time travel can be used in those.
I mean, because with time travel, when it comes to like traveling, I don't like to typically do things as they're traveling. I like to do things while they're stopped, because that's where it's more of a set piece. Because the terrain encounter, like caravan encounters, it's kind of free for all. It's just abstract. While city encounters, I kind of prep a little bit more. You guys get attacked by some grizzly bears. There are 4 of them. I throw down, 4 squares on a grid and plop down the party in one of them. What are you guys doing? Roll for initiative, something like that. But yeah, if I'm doing a caravan, let's say from Neverwinter to some 10 towns way up there, and it's got 3 stops, I'm gonna make stuff in those 3 stops, guaranteed, because they're stopping. That is a chance for nefarious deeds to happen to the caravan. That's a place for more quests to happen, and then they could leave the caravan and negate that whole ride entirely and get to 10 towns some other way.
That's true.
It all depends, like, because you know me, I don't like doing travel encounters. As soon as you guys get the way to like teleport, awesome. I don't have to worry about any of that, and then I can just screw with your teleports. If I so choose, if needed to fit a story or, something along those lines. But caravan travel, I like to ask the players, hey, you guys are going to be traveling for the next 2 months on this caravan. Is there anything you guys are trying to accomplish in your downtime so I can log those hours every night so you don't have to say it every night type of deal? And that way, you get, over the course of your journey, you've gotten 10 hours from the past 5 days. So you've done it for at least 2 hours every night for 5 days, and now something's happening. That's the way to key in that I've kind of fast forward through time a little bit.
Yeah, when I did the Horde of the Dragon, I had that long caravan. They had their set encounters in there, and they tell you to do a few of them. I did all of them. I was just like, why not do all of these to give them more things to do on their ride? So I rolled a bunch of dice, and at a time I rolled like I think I rolled d6. Every time I rolled a 5 or a 6, I would put it in that next day. Like so, I'd be like day 1, roll a d5, roll a d6. If it was a 5 or a 6, I'd put one of the encounters in, and then I'd roll day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. I think it was like a 30-day or 28-day trip or something like that. It was interesting to do as a DM because I hadn't done any like long travel like that in a
That was your first
caravan.
campaign.
So that was cool, but at the same time, I've learned from there that like there's some things that like I could have done to speed it up. But we were all kind of new to the game at that point too, so I think it worked pretty good. But I learned how to do like maps. Looked at the maps and said, okay, well, if it's gonna take if it's 4 days to get from this point to this point, then it's gonna be 12 days to get from this point to this point. Like, I just started making up numbers that were remotely close to what they would be. Look at the terrain around. It's gonna take longer if there's rocky terrain. Hello, how's it going, Dwayne?
I didn't want to interrupt.
My old Smitty's buddy.
Noise. I mean, so with the travel, like it's the same way with like hours in a day too. Like you guys wake up in the morning and they're not doing anything in the city. You'll kind of speed throughout the day. What are you guys doing for lunch? And
Right.
you just woke up. Yeah. Like, are you guys going shopping? Otherwise, I'm getting to like when you already have something planned.
Right. Yeah. So, and then, like I said, when I look at the maps now, I can be like, okay, if it takes them 3 to 4 days to get here, it's going to take them 12 days to get here. It's going to take them 16 days to get here because they have to travel through the mountains. So it's going to take them, instead of a 2-day trip, it's a 4-day trip from here to here. Like,
see, that's like,
and then I can go, here we go. You guys are going to have 2 encounters during these 4 days. We'll figure it out. I'll roll a few dice and see out which day it's going to be when we're playing. And then I'll say, yeah, that your first day goes by fine. You guys want to stop for camp, blah, blah, blah. And then let you guys do your rolls for the overnight when I know that there's nothing going to happen that night because it's going to happen the next morning or whatever. Like, make you think that something's going to happen.
You can set that up and like have like something looking over that, Adam. Like I did that Sunday. I was like, all right, let's have something happen, but nothing happened. Like they're in the Underdark. They're sleeping on a 5-foot ledge. Like they're walking through a ledge, and that's where they have to sleep because they didn't find shelter. So throughout the night, I was like, yeah, you guys feel like rocks tumble from above you. Somebody heard whispering from the ground. But, at the end of the rest, somebody climbed up, saw some webs up there, and no spiders. And then I reminded them that in the Underdark, spiders are like the size of horses. They're big.
Yep.
But that's like the big difference with like caravans and like self-navigating. If you know where you're going, it's easier because then you have an actual time frame. If you're navigating and you don't know where you're going, you can say, well, it should take you about this long. And as soon as they hit about that 10-day mark and realize we've been traveling for like a week and we haven't got there, we're lost. We're fucking lost. But it's one of those things.
Is there anything that you could do to help a new DM that's trying to do time, like traveling, and how much time they should put into it?
Honestly, to be blunt, you should do it how Thundercat did for Hot DQ. We were on that caravan for how long?
I think it was like 28 days or something like that. But you guys are in game.
How many sessions?
Yeah, I don't know, 9-10 sessions.
So a little over 2 months. So
yeah,
you should make the travel like kind of feel long. As much as I didn't like the travel, the fact that I look back and I'm like, wow, we were on that goddamn caravan for fucking 2 months. And then I'm like, yeah, it felt like we were on the caravan for a month. It took us 2 months to play it. It's kind of one of my favorite moments in D&D because it pisses me off because it's so accurate and it bothers me and it's so good. It's a good bother.
Yeah, that was that. I would probably try it that way once at least,
If
just
it's
so
going to
you
take them a
can.
month to get somewhere, just plan out 4 weeks. Have like long sessions. Plan like a whole day's worth of encounters while they're sitting on that. Like have like bandits attack or a stage troop. Literally all kinds of things, just to get them to interact with things more.
The
Get their
reacting
brains going.
fungus.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. The crying game was great.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Um, yeah, and then what you do once you do play enough, you start looking at time as, okay, do we want to have this be a always on the run, everything needs to be going all at 100% all the time, or is it going to be one of those, all right, they've finished an encounter or a plot hook, and now we're going to move on to the next plot hook, but they have a little bit of downtime. Do we have them go do some other random things and keep pushing through there, or do we just say, hey, you have 2 weeks off, what do you want to do those 2 weeks, figure out how to make it work narratively, and then move on to the next
So a
thing.
good way I've been kind of thinking at like Beth is a huge Tolkien nerd when it comes to Lord of the Rings. When they show the passage of time, like them traveling throughout the fucking land, like narratively, it shows off like they travel through woods, mountains. Like you can narrate the scenery change as they travel, and they can have grasp a perspective of time through that, depending on how you want to do it. But that's a good example of like passage of time, like almost montage-y
Mm-hmm.
is a good way to do it.
Yeah, montage is a great time travel or time travel
Mm-hmm.
aspect of the game. I've done I've done a few montages. I even wrote a montage for a character that I was playing. So
Yes, you did.
Jacqueline had a montage.
Technically, you wrote two, but
Yeah,
well, I digress. I digress.
but I mean, yeah, I've done a few of them as a DM because it's great to get a point across, and also speeds up the boring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't slog the game for the other players. Um, Ask your players what they want to do if they have downtime. Would you want to play out the downtime, or do you want to just say what we do, roll a couple dice, and then get the conclusion? It's up to your game too. Like, if your game's gonna be a 2, 3, 4 year campaign, then make it a 2, 3, 4 year campaign. Do the time, take the time to narrate things beyond what they need. Don't be afraid to be extra descriptive. It will drag in more people. It will bring in more imagination from the rest of the players.
And you could design a combat encounter and then have your players either completely subvert it or make a new ally out of it. You never know. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be combat.
yeah, just have it be abstract, like these abstract encounters. As like you guys are traveling through fog, it be like it's abnormally foggy. See what happens. Like have weird
Why
hooting
is it
owls.
so foggy?
I don't know. You're a druid. Figure that shit out.
When
Talk to the
actually
plants.
nothing is the issue. You just made it
Mm-hmm.
seem like it is, and
It's
now they're
also a
gonna
good
go
way to
into it.
stall. It's a good way to stall as a DM
True.
to figure out what you want to do, and then look up a stat block for what a black bear does, or a roper, or a fucking piercer, like something that would fit the terrain, and you can just look and be like, okay, that would wipe out two of them. One of these could be a doppelganger, and then a bear attacks the party. There we go. It's also a good way to test things. Like it's maybe someone's on the caravan selling stuff.
Yeah,
It might be junk, but
they might have some
it might be,
scented
candles or
oils and
fucking
candles.
fuck you. But it's a good way to have either players try to make money on the stops when they stop for the night because they're gathering ingredients for said oils and fragrances, or spend their money on something that smells really good, like lilaxes and sandalwood.
Lilaxes.
Yeah, lilaxes. That's the pluralization of lilaxes. You didn't know that?
The pluralization of lilacs is lilaxes.
Yeah, lilac. It's pluralization of lilac is lilaxes.
Lilaxes. That's a good name for like
lilaxes.
for a character. Hi, I am Lilaxes.
Bow down before lilaxes.
Go over there, Lilaxes. Get in the corner.
Hi, I'm lilaxes. Circle of the Moon Druid.
All right. We've done like 20 minutes of boring time travel.
We're gonna get timey-wimey now?
Let's get fun, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Right. Lead off. That's how we do this.
I was hoping that future me would just show up and be like, "Hi." Time travel didn't happen, so.
Yeah, future you is passed out right now. It's sleepy time. It's 9 o'clock in the morning for him.
He's just real old.
Yeah. You kids, get off that internet. It's no good for you. So on a short aspect, if you're doing a controlled time travel event, like saying, you have vanquished this leg of a campaign and you give them a year. That's you have a year. Give me 4 things that you want to do throughout this year that could potentially help your character or potentially help form what you guys will be doing in the next ending arc of a campaign. That will give your players, some time to think creatively and figure out, how could I get the skill? How could I get the spell? How could I learn about dragons or giants or basilisks or Asarak, the evil undead Lich King? It's a good way to creatively get your players thinking. It's a good way to help your bad guys know about your players, and then you can do some dirty DM things and refer back to our dirty DM trick episode, and then you can counterspell their healing spells because that their bard heals. That their berserking battle rager, if he gets frightened, he can't be frightened, he can't be charmed if he's raging. Just get him before he rages. It'll buy some time for you to write out your big bad evil guy, your MacGuffin, your leg, MacGuffin, leg, final big bad evil guy fight ending arc. It'll give you that time to figure out the closure of your campaign. You could potentially have a player who wants to retire a character and try something different. Not too much different, but something different. And they'll, it's a good way for them to find another voice, bring a different aspect to a party that they might need, and then have that character become an NPC in the DM's possession who can, aid the party from a different aspect. You got anything for short-term time travel there, Dundies? I don't know why I got Southern there.
I was thinking like using a spell to travel forward in time.
Like actual time travel.
Yes.
Yeah, I got nothing on that. Not right now.
How would you do that in game? So I was thinking like a spell that makes. I mean, there's plenty of spells that could potentially give you time travel if you think about it in D&D sense. There's the mind wipe one where you could pretend that someone time traveled and wipe their mind type deal. There's actual time travel with a wish, or then there's also the Dunamancy that was introduced.
Mercer wrote,
but what I'm thinking is like one of the characters wants to go back in time to save their family member from the big bad evil guy, or they Barry Allen it, go back in time, find out who the big bad evil guy is, and come back to the time that they
Strangle
are
him
now,
as a baby.
and
Yeah.
or that kind of thing.
So I'm the type of chaos theory that life will always find a way. I've watched Flashpoint Paradox. It's one of my favorite comic arcs. I loved Butterfly Effect as much as I hate fucking Ashton Kutcher. The things that you do in the past will affect the future. If I am all for the players thinking creatively like that, and then allowing them to do that, and then figuring out when they get back how I can tweak things to make it unsettling for them.
I would say there's consequences for everything.
Yup. Absolutely.
All right, so your dad was killed by someone, you don't know who it was, so you're going to go back in time to figure out who it is. You go back in time, figure out who it is, and save your dad. And now you want to go back to where you were, and everything's changed. Like,
your dad is now the evil guy.
Yeah, or your dad was the evil guy in the beginning anyways. He was, and that's why he got killed. Like, you didn't know he was. Like,
usurped the power.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's classic D&D trope. I mean, if you want to go into like time travel-y tropes, like that's a real good one.
And then you're getting into more inspiration, other things that you can use for inspiration. There's more shows and movies if you're going to use time travel in your campaigns. You're not necessarily held back to the fantasy. You can also use sci-fi.
Hello, I've done it plenty of times. I made Weeping Angels, as they're fucking terrifying. Because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to send someone back in time. And I was like, well, I'm a fucking DM. I can do whatever I want. So, sure. I'm going to roll 2d10. And that's how many years in the past you go back because they touch you. Why? Who knows? Try and figure it out. Go have a chat with them. Go
try to touch them.
Mm-hmm. It was like, I rolled it once and I was like, oh, I got fucking 96. All right, cool. Sorry, Mr. Human, you're probably gonna die. That's the good thing about D&D, though. Like, you can send that person back into the past. If they're an elf, there's a good possibility they're gonna live. They're a dwarf. They're like, I mean, excluding a couple of races, you'll probably live through it.
So you do the elf. You send him back 96 years. Mm-hmm. He ends up showing back, like turning the corner as you're about to touch the next angel, and says, "Stop! Don't do it! I've finally found it. I've remembered how to get here. It's taken me 97 years to find you guys."
It's one of my crowning achievements. They really don't do a lot, but like they move like super fast, like 90 feet. I was like, they can't move if you're looking at them.
No, wait. Now, would you have a conversation with the player and say, "Hey, I'm going to take your character from here on out," or let's talk about what you do for the next 96 years until you come around the corner and go, "Stop," and then figure out like.
I would immediately be like, it depends on, like, if we were at your house and I did this, I would be like, everyone else needs to go upstairs right now. Everyone. I would kick everyone out of a Discord call. I would be like, yep, we're going to have a quick little 30-minute, like maybe 15, pushing it. What are you doing for the next 100 years? That this thing sent you back, and then I'll roll dice to figure out where it sent you, because if you've ever seen Doctor Who, they don't send you back exactly where you were. They send you back fucking somewheres. And then do you want to continue being this character? Because you can, because you're an elf. If you're a human, then you're probably gonna be dead. That's where I'll have to have a conversation with a player.
And then the player, I mean, I would be like trying to figure out, okay, well, now I need to go find a potion master that has potions of longevity so I can live longer. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I would just like, that would be like, immediately I would be like on the offensive of trying to figure out how to keep my character, unless I had in mind changing to another character anyways. But most of the time I get invested, so obviously you don't want to lose a character.
I have plenty of paper and pen and pencils. I'll be
But
fine.
imagine you were the wizard or whatever, and like you're human and you just get like old and you show up and then you're like the crazy old human wizard.
Hey, you
Stop!
kid.
Stop that! Don't touch it, you idiots!
And then you just banish it. That's how, like, that's the only way to get rid of him. I was like,
That
oh,
would
they
be
have
so
to be banished.
good. Oh man, now I want to play and DM like time travel stuff. I'm gonna do time travel now.
Gonna do Dr. Timey-wimey stuff? Yeah, it's fun. It's real fun. Once you go into
okay.
sci-fi world, dude, you don't ever want to come back.
Now let's talk about other time travel inspirational type things. Yeah, the Feywild is great. That's a great time travel thing. You think about it. I also like going into a different plane and having time work differently there. So you come back, it's 100 years in the future. If you're a human, your whole family's probably dead. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
You've aged like 2 hours, but your whole family's dead. Like,
yep. So the world is now the apocalypse. What? Yep.
You could have so many I don't know. You could have so many crazy things. The other thing with the Feywild, like not remembering that you were there, so like you just walk back, like you walk in, and then
too.
Yeah, I was saying you walk in, and then 100 years later you're walking out, and you forget that you were in there, so you just go in from like the Sword Coast is beautiful to an apocalyptic like landscape of everything is death and and it feels like it was just minutes. That's crazy.
So now we're gonna get to like time travel. Like, are you like forcible? Like the players go through an area and all of a sudden it's. I've done it a couple of times. I do it in dreams. Is usually how I do it, and then that's how they can fix the campaign. And we were also talking about inspirations, as you said. Like there's a good one, Bill and Ted. You can have somebody coming from the future. If you guys don't stop the world from ending now, and then they go back in time to get some of the greatest adventurers, yada, yada, yada. You could pull out some of their older characters just to have that nostalgia feel, and it'd be fun. Back to the Future, you steal this weird machine, and you don't know how it's working, but you start pushing buttons, and then you're meeting your parents. You don't exist. Like, what's going on?
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Hot Tub Time Machine's a good one. I've never done that one.
You go to a party. You wish that you were back in high school. You meet Chevy Chase, and he pours a drink in your hot tub.
I'm trying to think of another
travel potion.
Time travel movie. Back to the Future, I named that one. I'm trying to think other good time travel-y movies, like other than Doctor Who, because that one that's a whole different level of time travel, because that's time and space. Like you can go
the Doctor Strange movie.
The new one?
The first one.
Or wait. Oh, the first one. Well, yeah. Travel. Yeah, with the time. Yep.
It's all about the time stone.
Kinda.
Well, I mean, he's told not to reverse time.
You go into the what ifs where he finds out and he's trying to save the girl that whole time, and he can't do it, and he keeps screwing things up worse and worse until eventually the universe collapses on itself and it's just him. And I was like, that's so sad.
I got a good one. Loki.
Oh, the multiverse thing? That's and then getting to end of time, and then that's a whole different ball game. I've literally put so much thought into like a Loki style. Like you guys start off with this guy who knows what you're going to do, and then doesn't. What are you guys doing now that he's just standing there motionless and looks defenseless? You leave. Everything is different, and it's run by the same looking dude, but looks more menacing. Like there's no subterfuge. Like I run this shit. Go fuck yourself. But that's when you draw straight from like comics. Comics are a good like Days of Future Past.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that's
definitely. Yep.
great comic book line. Terrible movie. Good comic book line.
All right, give me something. Give me something that you would do in your game, considering like movie time travel, that kind of stuff.
I would. I love introducing Zap. I really do. Hi, I'm from outer space. You want to come up and see my spaceship? And then if they say yes, the what am I gonna do until they want to be done with this crazy man? I always like the machine, like the thing that moves, the like the big contraption, like that's what controls the time thing. Oh,
Oh, Doom
I'm sorry.
Patrol. The guy,
The
the time
drill?
travel drill.
Yeah. I just thought of a great time travel movie that we didn't even think. And it's such a perfect thing that I want to do in D&D now. Groundhog Day.
Oh, that's pretty good.
They relive the same day, like have like a dragon attack one shot. And then they wake up the next session, the day of the dragon attack, and continue to see what they do differently and see if it changes things. Have like the series of events that they need to do, but I
There's
just thought of that.
There's they do that in
Damn it.
the yeah, Griffin McElroy does that in the Adventure Zone. He does it's the 11th hour, it's called. They relive
Nice.
the same hour over and over and over as they're trying to save
That's rough.
a city. Yep. It's so well done. You should listen to it. It's really good.
I have to listen to that now, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The reliving the same hour over and over or the same day. I like that.
The same
Like that.
encounter. Think about that. Like, could you imagine if Matt Mercer Groundhog Day and Vox Machina the day that the Chroma Conclave attacked? That would be mortifying. I would never want to play D&D again.
Now what if you did a more like boring day? You like the day that we went to
Like a Tuesday?
like yeah,
Without
like
a
the
cow?
day like the day that we named the cow in your campaign, or
Puddles.
the or the day that they had the argument about the bill.
The
Like
day that you guys sat in the cave for like half the session, I would do that one. That would be the one, like, do something so mundane, and then they eventually leave the cave to see what happened. Like, what did you miss? Like,
oh man, that would be so boring. Then you definitely feel like Bill Murray at that point from Groundhog Day.
Ned?
Ned Ryerson.
But yeah, like I've done the Doctor in D&D. I've done Zaphod Beeblebrox. I've put my own little twist on time travel. I've never done the Bill and Ted. I've never done Marty McFly. I've never done Doc Brown, and now I need to. Like, I like time travel in D&D because there's not a lot of time travel in D&D. It's one of those things like you don't see like a lot of like sci-fi like laser guns and like Death Stars and lightsaber. Well, you do see a lightsaber eventually once you get to Sun Sword, but like I'm a big sci-fi nerd. Like time travel calls to me, and why is time travel not more involved in fantasy? It should be.
Rick and Morty did a good one when this newer season. Rick wants Morty to go get him wine, and he put it in like a different dimension. And when he goes to get the wine, he brings the old man that's in the other dimension helps him bring the wine back. But like 5 minutes in our dimension is like 50 years in their dimension. Yeah, whatever it is.
Ridiculous.
So he comes back, and everyone's like old, and yeah. They did a good job doing that. That was good. That would be a good D&D. Like, you could totally pull that off with like a plane shift or something.
I honestly think the Bill and Ted deal is
Yeah.
fucking golden.
When you said that, I was like,
golden.
that's so good. Like,
I watched your face light up.
Yeah, like imagine having you get everyone's character sheets, and you pick one of the 5 that you have. You create that character into your own character, but he's like, instead of level 3, now he's a level 14 or 15. You take that character sheet and you give all their character sheets back. You have your 15th level, whatever you picked out of the group, and you say, you hear a pop, and behind you, you see a grizzled man that looks very familiar to one of the party. And you say, and he says something along the lines like, "You need to listen, and you need to listen now. I only have a minute. We are going to get into trouble, and it's going to be bad. You're all going to die if you don't do what I say now." And you all look up, and you notice that it's your barbarian friend, whoever, and he's all scarred and burnt, and
he's
then
wearing weird armor, and he's saying, "Bruce, he's the key."
Exactly, and disappears.
Yep.
But you know what I mean, like. How intrigued
Honestly,
would that barbarian, the player that you have, be like, what the fuck? Why am I here? What?
It's also a good way to show like people's range too. Like, so I'm thinking about it this way, like with our game, like the war for Garaxia, like I saw that Vandal, that cheeky little son of a bitch that he did, he brought in the old party and we're fucking a performing troupe. Bear and Deer would never have that. But like you could show off the range, like Malcolm Sandyfingers, Alston Strongfoot Tarkleby, Tacklin Holderheck, Candu Puent. Like those are 4 completely different Thundercats. And then you could like have like Ossitator and DD who have the one character see the differences in your nuances. Like have have Vandal have fucking Christ. I hate going through it. Desk. Have Desk, Noikia, Talionix. What's this Tuesday? I'm getting his Tuesday character, the current campaign, and then the old PS4 campaign. Because I'm thinking Illidax.
Illidax is the old.
Right, okay. And
campaign.
What was Tuesday's? His current character.
I can't remember right now. I haven't
Seriously,
looked at that
mind
stuff
the
in
fucking
forever.
number made it easier for me. And then you have like Beth with Exalia, and then Bree, and then fucking Clementine now. And then fucking Dad. Like it's a good way to show off like how you can be different with certain characters and not like do different voices, like how you interact, like just talking with a little bit of a lilt to your voice, and then just kind of like bobbing your head a little bit, or just talking from the diaphragm, kind of short and raspy. But I like that. I like the Bill and Ted idea. I kind of want to write that now, and then cater to some like people who haven't played D&D, and then they have to go find like all of my old friends' characters and see if I can mimic their voices and such. Or get them in for a one shot.
Do you have it? Have you done any like time travel stuff in your campaigns? Like not time passing, but time travel. Like
I mean, Zaphod, you guys did. And when I was running the one shot every other week, basically, it was he would hit the quantum reality transponder, and then you would turn into several different things, and you would move either through time or space, and then you do that. I've done.
I mean, you had Doctor Who's character. You had the caretaker.
I did. Yeah, and then you guys just kind of bumped into him, but like I never showed you how he traveled through time.
Yeah, but you didn't need to because it was always a different person.
It was always a different personality. I would roll the D12 and figure out which doctor it was that day. And then they came out with Peter Capaldi and fucked everything up. And then I don't have a D13.
Now it's a D14, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Just roll a D20 and subtract 6, I guess. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Then I got nothing. I got nothing. Fucking BBC.
Your old 2D7s.
Mm-hmm. But then you could never be the first Doctor, ever.
Oh, that's true.
There's no
-1.
D7s.
Damn it. Roll a
There are
D15
14 fucking
-1.
Doctors now. God damn it, BBC. Yeah. Beth is like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot there's 14 now. No one's really watched the. Anyway, well, I'm not gonna get into that. That's a different
in my campaign, I did a little bit of time travel by showing you the past through the medals that were given to you as bracelets, I think, or earrings, from my mage. I forget what his name was.
I think Umlau did some time travel in the Monday campaign. Now that I think about it, but I'm a firm believer of you don't show how you time travel. If you're gonna move the party through time, don't show them how they did it first, so they can figure it out on their own.
Right.
So one of those things, like
Matt Mercer did it, showed them how it worked.
Yep, it took them a while.
Yep, they had to learn.
Yep, but eventually you'll get there. But you don't show them how the fucking time traveling DeLorean works in the first 30 seconds. They hit some buttons and then they're in the past. And then they go, oh shit, I don't know how this works. How do I get back? We gotta go find the guy who built it. Great Scott, Marty.
You could do, what about like following along the Feywild thing where you forget? What about like a Men in Black? Like,
oh, you get neuralized? That's a kind of I've never thought of that. Like, considering I want to run the carnival at Witchlight, the Wild Beyond Witchlight. I apologize. It doesn't really talk much about after. Talks about in, doesn't talk about after. And I always thought about that. And I'm like, well, they'll finish at like level 10. And I want to get him to at least level 15 because that's usually where I'm like, I got to figure out what I got to do for these people, not to fucking either try to kill them or challenge them. But it's a good way. Like, they come out of a place, they don't recall where they were, they don't know who they are. Like, are we going like full on amnesia or just don't remember?
you could do what the Men in Black do and like gives them an idea of what they were doing and why what they forget, basically.
Yeah.
So you can kind of do your own neuralizer type thing. Like, yeah, you remember who you are, but you don't remember where you were and anything about this place. Kind of like the same Feywild. You don't remember anything about this carnival. You don't remember anything about that tent you were just in. You turn around, you see the tent flap and go, wow, that's a nice place. You go back in, come back out and forget again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could do something like that anywhere in D&D, and that's kind of a time travel. Like, I know that I lost time. The sun was there when I came out, and now it's over there. Like,
you started like you enter the woods, it's a beautiful summer day, and then as you leave the woods, it's snowing.
Yeah, right. Like, something happened here.
What happened? Like that's it's.
I go back into the woods and then I come back out again. Is it still snowing?
It's like the mists of Barovia. Like, you're in a misty area, and then all of a sudden you're in fucking Barovia, and you're stuck there. And if you try to walk through the mist, you'll die. It's one of those things like you.
Yeah.
It's like teleportation. It's one of those things that you don't know what happened until it's too late. Like, shit, I'm in the Feywild.
I think time travel could be a lot of fun to do in a D&D campaign, and if you do it, you need to make sure that you do it properly.
Control.
Like, yeah, have control on it. Don't let it get too chaotic, because time travel can really, people will do what they can to get around stuff, and I think it's fun though.
I guarantee you, DMs, players, if you're listening to this episode, I guarantee you, if you are presented with the opportunity, you will find a sports almanac. You will buy it, and you will try to cheat. You will certainly try if you go into the future, if you go into the past, You will pull some tropiness out of your bag because it will be fun. You
We
will
want
either
you to.
make your DM go, ugh, or you'll make him giggle. It's not a bad thing. DMs, if they do it, cool. It's gonna bite them in the ass. You know it's
Consequences.
gonna bite them in the ass.
We talked
and just
about
go,
that earlier.
Smile or give that face palm. Be like, all right, this is me thinking of how I'm gonna bite you in the ass. Okay, I'm smiling now. Cool. It's 200 gold. How much do you have? 250? Perfect. Love it.
Oh,
Oh, the time
225 for you.
machine's powered by gold. Oh no. How much do you need? About 250 gold's worth. Oh no. But that's just me being spiteful.
Looks like you're gonna have to live in the past for about a week. Oh no,
Yep.
Sorry. The inflation rate of
Make
your
a dexterity
time
saving throw for
time
your
to
sweeping chores.
It's gonna take you a lot longer than a week. It looks like the the rate of
Once again,
the past.
It should be fun. You should have fun with it. Make it your own. It's time travel. People are going to realize that it's time travel. Like they just time travel. If this, because there's examples of time travel in fucking everything. Everything.
Yeah, I've had fun talking about time travel.
Time travel. I wanted to say it one more time.
Let's do some outro plugs. Talk about where you got going out.
Are we gonna talk about our stuff first or the team stuff first? I never remember.
Let's talk about the team stuff after. We'll talk about us first.
All right, what are you doing tomorrow? Do you normally stream tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm playing Sea of Thieves with Ossitator.
I'm sorry, it's pronounced Sea of Thieves.
I'll be on.
What time may that be?
I'll be on Ossitator's Twitch channel, playing Sea of Thieves with him around 4:30.
Make sure you be updating your game. I just saw it had an update again today.
Oh, great.
You're welcome.
Then I might stream later tomorrow night.
Ooh. You gonna get so far in Metal Gear Solid and then die?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be playing Metal Gear again. I might go back to playing some Warzone, maybe. I got a couple new games, so who knows?
Oh, what'd you get for new games?
I got Fallout 76.
Nice.
And I got another one called Volcanoids.
Volcanoids? That sounds super sci-fi-y.
It's a survival-based game where you build volcano-proof drill things.
Nice. Oh, so not like Vulcan, like Volcan, like a volcano. Oh, yes. Okay. Not sci-fi, geology. Gotcha.
Yeah, and the drills are made to like protect you from the volcanoes exploding. So you have to build them before the volcanoes explode. Looked pretty cool.
I'm kind of excited to see that. I want to see you panic. And
I don't know when. Yeah, I don't know when I'll end up playing that, but it's definitely one of the newer ones I got. But I think we played 76 last week, so maybe we'll play 76 again. I'll say.
You look like you had fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to get further into it and get more of the missions done. Build.
And where can the lovely people for the audio and the video listeners catch you?
Thundercat0420 on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch.
More importantly, twitch.tv/Thundercat0420 is where you can catch him tomorrow playing that stuff. Or twitch.tv/Ossitator, who is also on the War for Caraxia.
Yep.
Who will be streaming tomorrow right around 4:30.
4:30. See you, team.
And then nothing else for the rest of the week?
Then next Sunday.
Next Sunday, which play Warzone again?
Warzone probably with Knocker.
Noise. My future brother-in-law.
Possible Vandal, possible DD if DD gets out early enough on Sundays. Oh no, he's off on Sunday. If he gets online early enough on Sunday.
Yeah, what about you? Sundays is family days. Oh, me? Tomorrow I'm gonna be playing some Marvel Avengers when the fiance takes off to go have family dinner, and then Thursday I'm probably gonna do a little bit of campaign prep, and this weekend who knows because of the team stuff going on.
Thank you for those shout outs, Fuzzrap.
And as Fuzzrap shouted me out, you can find me at GM Patch Nasty on most social medias, Instagram, TikTok, the Twitter bot machine, and twitch.tv/GM Patch Nasty. If you see a picture of me with glasses going like this, you're in the right place. That's me doing a little head tilt.
You see a
Nod,
picture.
Todd.
Nod, tilt, Todd.
Yep,
If you see a
Todd,
picture of me
Todd.
with a big long beard, that's me.
Yeah, they just released some new endgame
look like.
content for Avengers. I'm excited for it.
Oh,
I just hit
nice.
50 with Spooderman, so now I can do all the cool endgame stuff. I got to do that for all the characters now because I want to get the platinum trophy.
All right, team stuff. We got a new schedule coming. That will probably be out in January. So be on the lookout for that.
Hooray, holidays for making things crazy.
Yeah, we have postponed our Monday night streams because we're having trouble getting everybody together to play games on survival night. So we
football season will be done soon.
Yeah, we've taken that off of our schedules, but we'll be back next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for more talking D&D. And then this Friday night we're doing our team stream because we cannot get together to do the War for Graxia. And then this Saturday, potentially,
we don't know what we're doing.
To be determined, but potentially the War for Graxia will be episode 9 will be airing. If not, we will post in Twitter and in our Discord that the night will be canceled. And you might see a few of us playing games anyways on the Twitch channel here. This channel. Cool.
Don't forget about Patreon, where you can get all the exclusive D&D stuff, like the outlines for talking D&D, the Randy outtakes. You've got the session 0. There's other things that are coming that I don't know about. They don't even tell me because I don't even give them my money for Patreon. So you should, so you can know about these things and tell me in the chat.
we will be releasing a new short video this week, I believe, from the Zombo Force team. A public service announcement for all of the holidays for everybody. We really hope that you'll enjoy that. You'll see that this week, hopefully, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. If you see the Dysfunctional Gaming squid that's right here, you will know that it's us.
That way?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm poking it. Yeah, that's us. Look for
What
the
do we
squid
got going on?
Right place.
What do we got going on next week?
Next week we are diving into the monster manual as I like to do. It's kind of a player and a DM week because we're going to be talking about goblinoids and their kin. So goblinoids, bugbears, hobgoblins, wargs, all those things. Batiri, for those of you who have not been to Chult, Batiri are Chultian goblins. Sometimes they make a Batiri stack and they are like a totem. Cool stuff. But that's next week, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For talking D&D, we'll be doing the monsters. I like monsters.
Cool. So
as Thundercat looks for people to raid,
I've already found.
Oh, nice. Did you get the memo?
Well, yeah, I already knew that Randy was gone. He was out looking for jobs. So
he didn't send anybody this week.
Well, I thought
it's just me.
I thought Grog was coming back for some reason.
No. He didn't send anybody. He's like, you do a Christmas Carol, and I'm against it. So we have one. It'll be fun.
All I know is I just thought Grog just parked up on your couch and was just hanging out for the week and waiting until today.
It's 2 for Tuesdays. He's over at, yeah.
He went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep. So yeah, I have a little ditty prepared.
All right, hold on.
Where are we going tonight?
Let me get to the ending screen. We're gonna go over to Wheelchair Andy. He's been
yay!
He's been really active in Wings community, and he's also been
super active on Twitter.
Yeah, he's been retweeting everything that we post, and I wanted to go show him some love. So let's throw the shacaronis in the chat, the Randy raids if you can, and without further ado, we're gonna go to the ending screen, press that raid button, and go to DM Patch Nasty singing us a Christmas song.
Yes, I have one. I prepared for all of you. This is from the bottom of my heart. It's to the tune of "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." Um, have yourself a bummer of a Christmas. I hope you get nothing but the blues, loneliness, and bills from shopping. Have yourself a bummer of a Christmas. May your tree burn down with your house and everything else around, leaving you homeless in the streets, nothing on your feet, and cold, with no friend who is near to you, who is dear to you to hold. Through the years, this always seems to happen every Christmas day. So go on, go burn down other people's homes. You'll have friends on that bummer of a Christmas day.